Another concept to be aware of is that of anchoring, and basically it means who goes first. When you're the first person to put something out there, you're, in a sense, throwing out an anchor to establish where we are in this proverbial sea of possibilities. So it's definitely related to the concept of ZOPA, the zone of possible agreements. It can also be used when there are other ranges of ideas to resolve a dispute that are out there, or it could simply be in the context of saying, here's my opening offer or proposal, and whether it's phrased as an ultimatum, that take it or leave it, that certainly establishes one tone, or if it says, we've done a lot of research on this project, we've had some preliminary discussions, I'm going to put a number out there simply for the purposes of discussion. It's not a take it or leave it, that's a totally different tone. So anchoring can have a strong effect on how the negotiations get out of the gate. Obviously, it can be a power play. Those two examples that were just given, in the one hand, show arrogance and confidence, and on the other hand, show an opening to having some sort of creative conversation, or at least one that is showing some willingness to listen to the other side. And the next level of that analysis is being the one to anchor, or the one having to try to now move the anchor, can affect whether or not discussions escalate. If someone comes out with a reasonable approach and tone, but it's a very high offer, that can backfire again and create problems in discussions, and ultimately result in a dispute that may be resolved in a way that's much more expensive than either party had wanted, or the parties don't reach the gain that either of them was expecting. So it can escalate the issues, and it can also certainly drag out the discussion. So be aware of anchoring, and as you do your analysis for how you personally want to prepare your side, what you expect the other side might do, this is a good concept to take a look at and really go back and consider. Suggesting to the other side that you have some guidelines and do some sort of agenda, so no one is surprised by someone being the one to throw out the first issue. Another concept that is important to consider is that of issue framing. In resolving a dispute, word choice can be very, very important, and in order to put forth the offer or proposal in the way that you want it to come across, you first need to go back again, do that analysis. What's your underlying goal? Are you trying to create doubt with respect to the validity or the feasibility of the other side's position, reduce their value? And are you trying to raise the value of your proposition? Or are you trying to cast the proposal in a light that is most likely to result in parties reaching an agreement? Let's take a look at an example. A board is meeting with an investor. At issue is the livelihood of a manufacturing plant where there are 300 jobs at stake. If there's no deal, it is almost certain that that plant is going to close within 6 months, and all 300 jobs will be lost. There's no probability of transferring these people. So an investor has come in, and the board is discussing the proposal on the table, and the party who is trying to sway the chairman or the majority voting bloc in favor of the proposal may put it forth as follows. If we accept Investor A's plan, we can guarantee saving 100 jobs. But look at it from this perspective. We accept Investor A's plan, we may lose up to 200 jobs. Ultimately, it's basically the same proposal, but the way it's characterized may have a very significant effect on the decision makers, and it's also sending a message about the person who's making the proposal. So framing the issue can be very important, and this is also a tactic you see used to resolve difficult questions. And we'll explore that a little bit in one of the following sections. So let's take a look back at some of these additional concepts. It's important to fully assess your dispute so you can use these concepts wisely and create a strategy checklist. You're going to want to look at certainly what sort of negotiation are you getting into? Is it one that is more competitive or more cooperative, or will there be some opportunities for you to modify that tension, either to use it to your advantage, to gain a more of a win-lose situation, or to bring it back to getting a win-win solution and keep it from being overly competitive or have some imbalance of power. And certainly want to review the parties' interests and positions, separate them, and then also identify what the range of possibilities are and potentially consider using a wider range simply as a negotiation tool. You want to be careful about who goes first. Sometimes you may not have any choice in that, but hopefully that's something the parties can work out. But in order to use any of these concepts, it is critical that the parties have information. So doing a lot of research before you get into any sort of negotiation where there's a lot at stake is very, very important. And certainly, as we've seen in all of these examples, expectations are critical to the effectiveness of your strategy. You need to know what your own are. That can be informed by your past experiences, by this particular dispute, how long it's gone on, how well the parties have focused on trying to resolve it or have they avoided it. And of course, all of this gets wrapped up in the umbrella of communication. How you present things is really going to have a substantial effect on whether or not the parties can resolve. So the bottom line that will be repeated throughout this course in your readings is practice. Practice, practice, practice.